Hi, my name is Ari Qayumi, founder, general, and managing partner of Mindful Venture Capital, a Silicon Valley-based venture capital firm powered by behavior design that backs mindful entrepreneurs building the future through technology. Our thesis is that behavior design can be used to invest better in venture capital markets. The power of behavior design goes beyond its applications in science and industry operators to now company building and venture capital investment. What differentiates our firm is really an asymmetric information, specifically related to new product development, innovation, and in particular, proof of concepts, what we like to call POCs. What many people aren't aware of is that in enterprise technology, over 80% of artificial intelligence, or AI, projects fail. Now, in terms of artificial intelligence pilots, over 90% never make it to a proof of concept. Our firm's trending success rate right now is well over 70%, with 25% of those progressing to Series A since initial funding. So how did I get here? Well, I studied symbolic systems with a concentration in human-computer interaction at Stanford University. I also led research at the Stanford Behavior Design Lab for nearly a decade. I worked with someone named Dr. BJ Fogg, who is the founder and director of the lab. He's also the pioneer of the field persuasive technology, as well as behavior design. In my time working with Dr. Fogg, what has been most impressive and most fascinating is really how I've learned to look at the world differently. Now, in terms of how this applies outside of the lab, more often than not, when another individual is looking at the same data that I am, I'm still able to extract and actually generate more actionable insights than they might upon first glance. Outside of the lab, this has proved extremely valuable in venture capital investment, because more often than not, what we are doing is looking at the world, extracting more information than others, and making an investment decision based on that. As part of our lab's research, we study computation. We also study human behavior change, and specifically scalable behavior change through the use of technology. Over time, this has developed into not just being about behavior change, but also being able to facilitate positive behavior change. When we're looking at the computation waves, though, on the technology side, what has been really fascinating is to see how the various waves have really transcended over the last 50 to 70 years. We started off with the functional computing wave back in, roughly the 1950s. We then went on to what we call the entertainment computing wave. Two maxims that I learned while working with Dr. BJ Fogg in the Stanford Behavior Design Lab also apply in industry. We call them the Fogg maxims. The first is to help people do what they already want to do. The second is to help people feel successful. Why that matters so much in the enterprise is that we're working at a systems level, large-scale organizations, and large-scale behavior change. And every time we help someone help themselves, that ends up creating a more resilient system that can actually scale. It can be sustainable, and it can pass on through generations. In terms of being successful, when we don't define what our end goal is, it's very difficult to actually get there. But it's not just about goals. When we agree on conducting a series of experiments together to see, hey, we believe that this is happening, and if we introduce this new technology, now here's what's going to happen. Does that actually happen? Being able to facilitate a sequence of those experiments, not only as an individual, but with a team of people, doing that together is what helps companies, what helps groups, what helps organizations change together over time. How Fogg's two maxims, and now these other two maxims, which let's just call them the Qayumi maxims for now, combined, those from my perspective are the four maxims that define the entire field of behavior design, both theoretical and applied. When we're looking at these computation waves, we can go back to, let's say, starting in the 1950s, where we had the functional computing wave. During the functional computing wave, we had computations that were helping the behaviors of humans function just efficiently. For instance, we started to have computer languages that would, such like, COBOL, Lisp, with semiconductors, that actually allowed humans, who are the original computers, to now augment themselves in the ways that they wanted. They could now code or automate. I want to do this thing I could do before, but now a computer can do it for me instead. And so instead of me having to spend time doing that over and over, I can now outsource part of this, and this time can be spent doing something else. That went on until, really through kind of the end of the 1960s. After the functional computing wave, we had the entertainment computing wave. This welcomed the introduction of the personal computer. We also had the mouse, the radio, the telephone. And what the point of that computing wave was how do we actually have these technologies be entertaining for humans? It would help them adopt it quickly. But the thing was, there was still a problem. People were not always adopting everything really quickly. Sure, they loved the game Space Invaders, but on what scale? That then entered this new computational wave of the ease of use or accessibility. That was the introduction of the internet. And that opened up a lot of possibilities. Following the ease of use computational wave, we had the persuasive computing wave. Now, this was where persuasive technologies were pioneered and began to thrive. So what are persuasive technologies? Persuasive technologies are technologies that change attitudes and behaviors using social influence and persuasion, but not coercion. These were things like Facebook at the time. You also had like Blue Origin. There were quite a few technologies that were starting around then. Following this, we had the consensual computing wave. Now, these are all technologies that are about changing people's behavior in the way that they want to change. This is very different than the persuasive computing wave. Because in that case, maybe I didn't necessarily want to change my behavior in one way or another, but I did because it was offered to me, very easily so. Following the consensual technology wave, we've then been welcomed into a sixth wave. It's the mindful computing wave. What makes this so different is that it's not only about helping people change their behavior in the way that they want to change, but also as they evolve over time. And then after we know both of those things, we then are able to layer on the persuasive technology. So as a recap, really what we have for the computational waves from a historical perspective are functional, entertainment, ease of use, and then we go into the next three: persuasive, consensual, and mindful. Why this is so relevant is that we entered the mindful computing wave around 2020 or so. Now this has continued to take off, and we're seeing all of these companies, leading companies, change to not only designing persuasive technologies and consensual technologies, but now redoing everything to be structured as mindful technologies. And the companies that are doing this are the companies that are outperforming within the Fortune 500 companies. But why are they doing it? There must be something they know that we don't know. What I'm going to say now is actually more subjective. It's my opinion based on my experience in industry working as a product director and a digital transformation expert. What I found is that when we use mindful technology design to create new products in industry or to facilitate innovations, we found that the customer base has a significantly higher retention rate. Over time, what this does is it makes the market size that's penetrable significantly higher than something like a persuasive technology or a consensual technology. Now, with my hat as a venture capitalist, this is really important because venture capitalists, it's not that they go after really large markets right now, or at least I don't. I go after markets that are growing exponentially, and we know that they're going to be extremely large markets. As a behavior change expert on the academic side, being able to understand how people are changing in troves helps inform my investment decisions. We are innovators of behavior design investing. We use a systematic analysis. It builds on top of traditional, quantitative, and it really enters us into this new phase or this new wave of analysis. I call it mindful analysis. We invest in people building tools that analyze and augment positive and diverse human abilities. We look for intentionality in teams, products, and specifically business models. From persuasive to consensual to mindful computing, we back companies building mindful ventures. These are companies pioneering the next generation of innovation and intelligence that are advancing the health and performance of humans, machines, and environments. We generally target about 90% United States and then 10% elsewhere. But what's most important is that we continue to back the companies that have high potential to enter the category of being a mindful technology. And that's what we intend to continue to do.